we say, oh yeah, the field's here, and the field has many names. The field is called sometimes the 0 point field, or the Planck field, or the matrix, or the divine matrix. The Akashic records are part of the field. So we have many different names, but the scientists now acknowledge that this field exists. Okay. But even today, and I was just at a conference recently, and this happened. The scientists will do this. Watch my hands. They'll say, oh, yes, there's a field out there that connects all things. And their hands do this. The field is out there. What they have not acknowledged is that the field is in here. We are the field. Every atom of every cell in our body is emerging and collapsing into this field. What that means is if we want change in our lives, if we want change in the world, rather than trying to force or impose the change out there, when we can become the very change in our lives and our bodies that we choose to see in the world, we're giving the field something to work with. The field can only reflect to us what we have given it to work with. And this is one of the sacred principles in the Gnostic texts, and it is one of the principles in the scientific community that they're only beginning to understand. The quantum experiments are now revealing this potential. So we're using different languages. We're talking about pretty much the same thing. So when we create that harmony between our heart and our brain, what we're actually doing is harmonizing our entire body. But the harmony doesn't stop at the boundary of our flesh. That harmony extends into the world around us. Now, the work that I have done, and I know some of our SGLA members have worked closely with the Institute of Heart Math in Northern California. And Heart Math has taken this even one step further, adhering to scientific protocols. They have asked me to emphasize when I speak about them that they are very rigid in their scientific protocols. So what they have done is set up monitoring stations throughout the world, sensors that report. They all feed back to a server in their laboratory in Northern California. And through these sensors, they can see the shifts in the field in response to human awareness and human consciousness and human coherence. And what they have found is that when we create coherence anywhere in the world, we create that coherence within our bodies influences the coherence in the field around us. And what we see, the way we see that, is we have more peace in the world. So, for example, we have studies have been done where in major population centers, where people are performing these levels of coherence. And this was also done through the meditation studies, the TM meditation studies that were done. What they found is that crime rates decline, emergency hospital room visits decline, assaults against individuals decline during the time that the coherence or the meditation is occurring. The problem is that when people stop the meditation, they stop the coherence, those statistics reverse. And this brings into focus a very deep spiritual principle, because those statistics reverse because the coherence was something that people were doing in a minute in time, and then they would stop and then get up and go about their day. The spiritual principles invite us to become that coherence to the best of our ability, to hold that coherence in our everyday lives, in the interactions that we have with other people, and the conversations that we have with ourselves. And nobody can get it 100% of the time, but to the best of our ability, if we try to live in our lives the coherence, the harmony that we're creating in those spaces, if we can live that to the best of our abilities, in that way, we uplift one another. And when many people do it, the field begins reflecting that. So I'll stop there, Shlomo, and see if that makes sense, if that was the direction that you wanted to go.
First of all, yes, very much, and thank you very much for that. Yes. I will share with you the moment I'm teaching meditation, and we are teaching an SGLA meditation. And we are looking, the first, there are four anchors, The first anchor is about our calling, our high purpose. What is the gift we came to give to this planet? The moment I personally, and also many students of us, SGLA, when I saw it clearly, when it came, I felt it in each and every cell of my body. I was shivering, I had goosebumps, all these kind of things. And I know that everything in my body shows me the way. It sounds, a little bit spiritual, but this is happening. So this is the reason I'm also looking for this science backup to show that this what happens the moment we see our calling or our high purpose totally in a full body synchronicity. It is like a miracle. It is like an ecstasy. It is something that goes beyond the understanding of our minds.
Right. Well, this is, there are even deeper components. Our bodies are made for precisely what we're talking about. Our bodies are made to manifest, to bring into physical reality what it is that we imagine, that we dream. We're the only form of life, Shlomo, that we know of that has the ability to consciously imagine in our mind's eye a scenario, a circumstance, a potential. Maybe it's a relationship. What kind of relationship do we want in our lives? Or, maybe it's the healing of our bodies. We're the only form of life that can consciously sit down in a moment in time, hold that image in our minds, and then examine the image, simulate different possibilities. When we find the outcome that is aligned with our heart's desire, then we can lock in that image in our mind, in our imagination. And parts of my 4-day workshop, we actually have a section on the science of imagination. How do you hold the image, and the techniques that were used to do that. But what the science is finding now is another class of neurons that were only discovered in the year 2004. So, in scientific terms, that's not that long ago. There's a class of neurons uh, in our brain that function very differently from the other neurons. They're called cubelli neurons, is the technical term.